Really easily, and I think we're ready. Okay. Well, growing up in the Catholic faith, I was, of course, no stranger to the concept of miracles. We were taught that Jesus performed a whole slew of them. His first one, turning water into wine, always held special significance to me. He pulled it off with pizzazz. Go fill those water jugs and all that jive. What a cool guy. Then, of course, we learned that to be canonized a saint, you must have been involved in 2 miracles. Not just one, but 2. I suppose to eliminate any kind of trickery or staged miracles that might have occurred. For instance, Mother Teresa, a modern saint, was declared a saint in 2016. But not before having her 2 miracles confirmed. Now, her miracles might have been a little more mundane. You know, it used to be 500 years ago, you try to set somebody on fire and they didn't burn, something exciting like that, you know. No, 2 different sick people prayed to her and they both got well. How about that? I heard she fed some lepers in Calcutta or some such. No matter, as long as those, the miracles were confirmed, that she can be a saint. So maybe a miracle is just something that happens before your eyes that has no logical explanation. A meteor shoots down from the sky and hits some poor bastard in the head and kills him. No, we wouldn't call that a miracle. At least not at the poor guy's wake. So I suppose a miracle has to be something that you really want to see happen, but in your current realm of thinking, you just can't quite imagine it. Let's go with that for now. My mom was once chasing my brother around the kitchen table, hoping to catch him and smack him with a family heirloom, a piece of razor strop handed down from my grandfather, nicknamed the Fat Strap. She too was fat at the time and couldn't catch him, so she got pissed and threw it at him. Well, this fat strap landed above the backsplash, behind our countertop. It landed flat against the wall and slid behind the backsplash, behind the permanently installed white steel cabinets, to never be seen again. Oh, there were still belts, don't worry, but it was a true miracle as far as I was concerned. I know one when I see it. Fast forward about 30 years or so, I had just ended a relationship, but I was feeling good because it was over, and my friend said I was just getting back to being myself again. I was in a pretty good band, and I was focused on getting the band booked into whatever bar I thought we could play. And one of them is the long since closed by now, Chances Are, in Berwyn. Anybody? Yeah, okay. Maybe I saw you there. Yeah, it was 1 block west of McNeil Hospital in Berwyn. So they would get psychiatric patients stopping by, still with the the plastic bracelet on, changing their mind about their stay. So you would walk through. You walked into the place through 2 creaky old doors that opened like an Old West saloon. The room was dominated by a huge 3-sided rectangular bar, the kind of place where you could look around and pretty much see everybody in the place from any vantage point. And I mean, that alone made for great entertainment and the occasional beef. Well, one night, our 3-piece band, Fat Chance, was playing. Packed into the little cubbyhole where they stuck the band. We were playing our asses off, of course, and I'm scanning the room trying to connect with anybody who I thought might be listening. And my eyes kept landing on this girl who I thought kind of looked like Patricia Arquette, which is kind of strange at the time because I didn't know who Patricia Arquette was. She seemed to know everybody in the place, was having a fun Friday night in a place that was clearly her joint. I didn't attempt to talk to her because she seemed occupied with friends, and the band used to use our breaks to go outside and smoke weed. One Saturday afternoon, I walked into Chances Are to deliver flyers for an upcoming gig I had there. I was happy to see that the Saturday bartender was the very girl who I had been eyeing up previously in the bar. So I stayed for a beer or 2, taped up some flyers, and we got along okay, and I figured now I knew when to stop in, which would be pretty easy since I had just taken an apartment down the block on the same block. Her name was Patty, and I started showing up and bringing lunch, which bartenders like because they can't leave and go get lunch. She had recently left a bad marriage and had one daughter still with her. They were living with a friend after losing their house and would soon rent an apartment in Cicero. Well, we started dating and visiting a few of the other gin mills in Berwyn, and we were having a good time. Even though back then she could totally drink me under the table. She says that she calls herself a cheap date these days, but maybe she's out of practice with that. I realized I wore cowboy boots and played in a band, but I wasn't fooling anyone. So now it looked like I had a girlfriend that my friends liked, and I didn't have to worry about what little thing was going to piss her off next, which is something that I had faced in a previous relationship. She just didn't think that way. It was refreshing in comparison to the previous relationship I was in. I was happy and maybe even a little bit surprised about how easy life seemed. Miracles don't have to be big. If you have a small one I might need, I'll take it. After a few years, we moved in together and formed a nice little family with Patty's daughter, Sarah, who now lives in the apartment across from us, where we live now. Patty and I both worked. I still played music, and we managed a pretty good life together. And it seems I've always maybe been a little more social than Patty. I really enjoy getting to know a wide variety of people and getting to be part of various communities that I deem to be cool. Patty told me early on that she was hesitant to make close friends. She had come from a military family that moved every couple of years, and it seemed like she would make a friend and scarcely make a friend and then have to move and lose that friend. So it was just safer to keep to herself and read books and hang around with her kitty cats and what have you, and that's the way she lived her life. But through my calculated efforts, I've helped her make some really good friends over the years. I know that if I drag her out to a party, she'll have a good time and it'd be, find someone to talk to, and sometimes you can trick someone into having a good time. And at some point recently, Patty started working at our friend Charlene's yoga studio. It really turned out to be a godsend, a miracle, if you will. She made a lot of good friends there and really enjoyed being part of the goings-on. She was even instrumental in getting an unruly customer barred from the premises, at a friggin' yoga studio. The old bartending skills came in handy. Well, after about 13 years together, I know, we decided we would get married. When we started dating, I always had this feeling that it was kind of my job to take care of her in this big old world. And Lord knows she was always taking good care of me. Patty stopped working full-time a few years ago. She had kind of a bully of a boss and just couldn't take it anymore and quit. But even when she did work, there would always be healthy home-cooked meals at home every night. Every now and then I would say, I'm doing the cooking, and I'd get on the phone and order a pizza or something. Oh man, she makes my lunch every morning, some chocolate chip cookies every now and then, or there's a cherry pie in the fridge right now, for Christ's sake. Does the dishes, folds the laundry. Up on Cripple Creek, she sends me. If I spring a leak, she mends me. I don't have to speak, she defends me. A drunkard's dream, if I ever did see one. Like that. We certainly were never rich, but we've always been able to keep our heads above water. A restaurant or concert once in a while, a little vacation here and there. Somebody always has a bit more than you. Somebody always has way less. That's true for any of us, and there's no reason to spend a lot of time worried about it. Like everybody else, I'm getting to the cancer part of the story now. No cancer stories next month. A couple of years ago, Patty noticed some suspicious moles on her chest. We went to the doctor. They had them removed and biopsied. It was melanoma. But they were pretty confident they had removed enough tissue and she would be okay, at least for now. Well, about 7 months past that, more reappeared in the same place. And it was really worrisome to us for a variety of reasons. Melanoma had claimed my dad's life about 10 years before. And we knew that when it comes back, you could be in for some real trouble. A lot of people think, oh, skin cancer, you get it sliced off and you're on your way. Add to this, at this point, she had no health insurance. I did with my job, but she did not. We bought health insurance until the price increased until we could no longer afford it. So we went to an oncologist in Berwyn. He was able to set us up with Stroger Hospital's oncology department. And it was a pretty terrifying feeling knowing that we had to walk in there and we just didn't quite know what to expect heading over there for the first time. Well, they scheduled a surgery to physically remove what cancer they had found in the scans and began to treat the remaining cancer with a new class of drugs that wake up your own immune system to fight the cancer. A little different than chemo, but still has some tough side effects. It turned out that Stroger is one of the few hospitals that has access to these drugs, and despite the really tough side effects over the past year, Patty's cancer has continued to shrink to almost nothing. Almost, but not quite. So she's doing really well these days. A bit weak and unsteady, but way the hell better. We went on vacation a few months ago, and we're pretty much enjoying a wonderful, normal life. Was it a miracle that Patty didn't have insurance and wound up getting treatment that has thus far saved her life? Was it a miracle that, except for an emergency stay at McNeil Hospital, all of her treatment and drugs have been covered by the county? Who can say what is a miracle and what isn't? But if there are maybe just a few more small miracles in the new year, we'll gratefully accept them. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Mitch Mayer, the mayor of Voicebox. All right.